Welcome back to Motors and Medicine. On today's episode, we're back in the garage working on the Bronco. And as promised, I'm going to do something that I've done before in a sense with my Mustang, and I actually have done a couple things like this on the Bronco. But this time around, I'm going to be installing a little bit of form and function at the same time. So what I'm going to be installing today is some pockets for the door handles. So these sit right inside the door handle itself. What it's going to do, this is molded plastic that's conforming right to the shape of the inside of the door handle. What it's going to do is just provide an extra pocket. So I know there's a lot of storage in the Bronco already, but I really like to have, especially where my door handle is, I always, for some reason, like to put my wallet there in other cars because there's a bottom. So I like to kind of put my wallet there when I'm going through a drive-through or whatever it is, or even when I'm traveling, just kind of slip it there and it seems to be out of the way, but accessible. So that's just one use. Anyhow, I really like this particular product just because it's not expensive. I picked up these door handle pockets from IAG. And as you know, I've bought a lot of parts from IAG in the past. So I'm really excited to see how these end up looking and fitting. The other part I'm going to be installing is from, I want to say this might be from IAG as well. I'm not positive. I'll have to do a little research and then I'll put the link in the description. But what this is just another piece of carbon fiber that's going to cover the grab handle on both sides, driver and passenger. It's just going to give a nice aesthetic. And it'll also kind of just protect it from anything scratching the actual handle itself, but the handle will be here, so it'll still be accessible. I just like carbon fiber and I like the look that it brings, the aesthetic that it brings. So I'm going to be introducing a little bit more carbon fiber to the Bronco. And lastly, I'm going to be installing this carbon fiber combo here this is a carbon fiber door handle cover, as well as the backing that goes behind it, like so. So it kind of looks like that. The purpose there is not only to give you a little bit of an aesthetic look, but also to protect. Many of you have cars that when you reach in, you got to pull the handle to open the door. And there's a lot of scratches and scuffs that start to develop on that inside portion, and it's really hard to prevent. So this basically just protects against that. It also gives you that nicer look, but ultimately, my Bronco, because it was one of the lower end trims, because I had always planned on modifying it and making it my own, the door handles, unfortunately, on this Bronco are just ugly black plastic. And there are Bronco trims out there that have body colored door handles. And I considered getting some of those as well, but I thought this would be a little bit easier in the event that if I don't like it, I can just put a hairdryer to it, peel it off, and it's like it never happened. I like to do my modifications in such a manner that I can always reverse them very easily. So that's why I chose that particular thing. So without further ado, I want to just go ahead and get started with the install process of all these things. Obviously, there's just a little bit of prep that needs to be done ahead of time. I washed my Bronco today, make sure that everything is nice and clean and dry on the surfaces. And then, of course, everything on these carbon fiber pieces, there's just a lot of adhesive little backing strips that I need to take off. And then there's a few bolts I'll have to undo just to get this handle in place. But we'll go to that point. So I'm going to go ahead and reposition the camera and kind of show you what's going on, and we'll go to that spot. All right, so here we are. I kind of repositioned. Now you can see the door's open, and you can see this is the handle I'm talking about. So your grab handle's here. This piece fits right in here like that. In order to get this on, you have to take this piece off, pop it on, and then put it back in place. And it also has some adhesive backing, but it's going to look nice because it'll clean this up, give it a new aesthetic, and you'll still have the Bronco trim in the handle at, as far as accessibility goes. So I'm going to go ahead and show you here. The tool necessary for this is real simple. It's just a handheld drill and a T30 bit. And we're just going to pop these screws out. Once you have the screws out, then all you have to do is kind of pull on it a little bit and it should just pop right out. Just like that. So now you can see this is it out. And this piece, once I get the backing off, I'll kind of show you how it's meant to fit in here. Like so, okay? So now you can see you still have the access to the handle, but you now have a different aesthetic on the outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the backing off this, put it back in place, and then we'll put the handle back in place and screw it back in, see how it looks. All right, so now I've taken the backing off this carbon fiber, and now I'm just gonna pop it in place here. And it's very simple. I mean, it's just a hold and press till it sticks on. So that's all we have to do here. Just get that in place. And now that it's been pressed in place here, that's how it looks. Right? So now I'm just going to pop it back in place and we should be able to get it screwed back down. It shouldn't be an issue. Okay. Now we simply just put the bolts back in and go in reverse order. It should button everything down pretty well. All right, so now you can see this is how it will end up looking. Just a new aesthetic, just a nice clean look. Next, I'm gonna show you guys what the little pocket looks like. So what I'm gonna do here is just kind of reposition the camera one more time. All right, so now you can see this is the door handle, and you can see that your hand can go all the way through, right? So the idea behind this is it'll just sit in here, just like that. So now you have a pocket so that you can put things in it, wallet, whatever you want, a phone even, just so that it's out of your pocket, whatever it is that you have there, and it'll just pop right in. So this thing, same thing, it's really easy. There's just an adhesive backing that I just took off. This one's like super easy. I mean, it's just drop it in place. I've already prepped the surface. And then it's just press and hold against the edge. And now you have a nice clean look. But now I've got storage, even more storage than I had before. So we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now I've repositioned again. This time I'm just gonna show you guys the carbon fiber overlay for the door handle. It goes just like that. So it looks clean, smooth, it has a perfect fit. It's been laser cut, so you know it's gonna fit exactly right. You obviously still have your holes cut out for your touch lock and your key. But the nice thing is that this thing is just not very attractive. This just looks a whole lot better. And the way this works, this panel, you pull on the door handle to slide it under, and it fits just like so. It just has to be aligned just right. So it's gonna sit just like that to prevent the scratches for when you're reaching over. So we'll install this piece first and then this piece next and go from there. I'm just gonna pop this out, take off all the backing, and we'll go to that point. Okay, so I've taken the backing off. Now I'm just gonna hold this in place and just get it aligned just right. Hopefully not close the door. Rather open the door. Okay. So Now I just have to eyeball this and just get it lined up just right so that it's level. And then it's just going to be the same thing like everything else that I ever do peel and stick. It's just, but what I love about these is that it's this 3M double-sided stick and it just never comes off. I used it with literally everything I've ever put on this Bronco, including my Bronco emblem over here, and it just works. Never fails. And if you don't like it, all you have to do is heat it with a hairdryer and it'll pop right off. So it's that simple. So basically just pop it down in place, just like so. Looks very well aligned there. And now we're done with that step. Now the next step is just to slide the cover over. Okay, now that I got the backing off this, now just like before, very simple, just gonna take this on and pop it on. And again, hold it firm in place, just so that the stick will kind of form a good bond. I had prepped the surfaces ahead of time. And again, this is just to change the overall aesthetic and also to protect the backside. So personally, I think it does a great job to dress up. I think it does a great job to dress up just the overall appearance. So what I'm gonna do is actually bring the camera from a different angle so that you can see the passenger side, how it looks just standard plastic. Now you'll be able to see the driver's side, how it looks from further back. It's a nice look. I think it's very clean. You have that nice carbon fiber, you have the protective backing, and it just from far away, it just kind of looks like a nice piece. It just dresses up the outside of the Bronco just a little bit more. So at the end of the day, I really just like to do things like this because I want to set my Bronco apart. Well, there's a lot of people out there that don't like to do these things because they think that maybe it's kind of ruining the aesthetic of the Bronco. But it really doesn't matter to me. I just, this is what I like, so this is what I like to do. And at the end of the day, I'm just really just trying to, for my own personal reasons, improve the aesthetic of the Bronco. And I really think I've accomplished that today with all the carbon fiber pieces and of course the little accessory pocket for the door handle, just to kind of help have a few extra little things that I just didn't have. Again, one of the things that I like about this Bronco is the modularity, the fact that you can modify just about anything with this Bronco. And I know somebody had asked me before how this was holding up. These were these panels that I had installed that I also picked up from, I believe, Extreme Terrain Off-Road. And they've held up perfect. The adhesion, everything is perfect. This has been through so many washes now, and it doesn't accumulate any dirt or anything. It looks great. It just gives it a nice appearance. So hopefully you guys see that if you have any vehicle, you can personalize it in any which way you want. But a lot of the technology now allows you to have these things that are perfectly laser cut that fit so well. And it makes it to where you're just not struggling with the fitment of any of these aftermarket pieces. So that'll do it for this video. I'm going to continue on installing all the other pieces, and I might do a final walk around when I'm done, just so that I can add that to the end of the video, so it'll you can see kind of how everything looks in the completed form. But outside of that, I'm really pleased with how things have gone so far, all the modifications I've done, and I'm going to keep doing more. I have plans to install some new LED fog lights. I have some parts coming to install some rear control arms that are stronger than the ones that came from factory. And so I'll be installing those, as well as some rear shock mount rock slide protectors, and a few other things that I'm just going to be putting on this rig just to help give it a little bit more protection off-road, but also kind of give it some nice aesthetic on-road. One other thing I was going to mention is, unfortunately, if you guys can see here, I'll try to zoom in there, I got hit by a stone that took off paint all the way down to the metal. So I've ordered some paint and some touch-up paint and some clear coat that I'm going to be applying to that. Hopefully that goes well and I can show you guys what it looks like on a video, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to continue making as much content as possible, and on the next video I'll probably bounce back into something in the medical realm, and then we'll jump back into the Bronco depending on when parts arrive. But I appreciate all your support. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. It'll help the channel grow. And of course, like always, give it a thumbs up if you like the video, if you like this kind of content anyway. And I appreciate everybody who watches. So until next time, this is Motors and Medicine signing off.